heard you going nuts. Just a hot. Fruit snacks are like are what's not great for me. Let's see. Can you hear me? Oh, I'm sorry. You can probably hear me. Test, 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 test. You got me. All right. We're going to try the other mic real quick.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 3, 2, 1. So they're going to do the call.
James Branson here, along with Josh. Did I get that right again? Did I mess that up?
No, you're good.
Josh Frazier, right? So we're not going to call you Ben half the broadcast here. We're going to make sure we get it right. But we're at the boys tournament here in Maryville, Tennessee. They are hosting the the basketball tournament that the boys attended last year. We're also joined by Ethan Eubanks and Malachi Bonner helping us out tonight. Obviously, we're very thankful for Brian Bennett back at the station, putting us on the radio and over the airwaves. And we're finishing up here at the tournament a little bit of the girls' game that's taking place beforehand, before the boys take the floor, which is between Kingsport Dobbins Bennett girls and the Farragut Lady Admirals. So as we are getting ready for that, the end of this game and the countdown to our next game, Josh, we have a little bit of an interesting scenario here, talking to Coach Green a little bit beforehand in the tunnel. The third time, very, very early in the season, the third time that the Wildcats and the Smoky Bears from Sevier County are going to face off.
Yeah, and that's the third time in just a month and 1 day so far. So these teams should know each other very well. They've had to have played each other at least at this point once a week in the last month so far, it seems like. So I'm expecting a really good game. The last one was really good. Sevier County got off to a hot start, but Oak Ridge was able to get it together and keep it close, and then they pulled away there at the end of the last game. So should be a good game today.
The Wildcats got off, had their first loss yesterday against the Maryville Rebels, which is, a really good opponent, as Oak Ridge might see Maryville again, possibly in the region. And the only other time that they would see them past that would be potentially in the state tournament. But really good test for the Wildcats. Going back to the Smoky Bears, Coach Green was talking about the fact that in the first matchup, it was a lot closer in Sevier County. The second matchup excluded, I guess, one of the Sevier County's best players. He had a concussion, was out for that part of that game. And so they are kind of just getting back to full strength, and interesting scenario with that, and Oak Ridge coming off its first loss on the season.
Right, and I think Oak Ridge they're looking to avenge that one loss, so I think they're going to come out here motivated and ready to play and ready to get back on track. They were hoping, obviously, for a much higher number in the undefeated column, but, a loss is something to learn from and something to come back from, and I think they should be able to come back. Sevier County was just getting back to full strength, but even though they were just getting back to full strength and learning how to mesh with each other, they played well. And Oak Ridge did have a challenge, and they stood up to that challenge and overcame it. And so it should be a really close one. I expect Oak Ridge to pull it out, though.
Well, Josh, you have a little bit of a rundown to start the game, or to start our pregame here before we start our game. Why don't you go ahead and do that for us?
Absolutely. So we're here at Maryville High School for our final game at the Renaissance Bank Christmas Tournament. Oak Ridge will take on Sevier County for, like we said, the third time in just 1 month and 1 day. Unfortunately for both teams, today's game is for third place. Both teams lost their semifinal round games and have to settle for this third place game. Sevier County opened tournament play with a win over Farragut, but lost yesterday, and Bryson Comer had 11 in the loss. The Wildcats were outsized in a very entertaining game that resulted in the loss. Stone Memorial will take on Maryville in the championship game right after our game tonight. Oak Ridge, as mentioned, is taking on Sevier County for the third time this season and the second time in less than 10 days. Oak Ridge beat Sevier County 73-53 at the Wildcat Arena on December 20th. The Wildcats trailed 29-25 at the half, but played a really good second half to beat the Smoky Bears. Brendan Scott hit 8 3-pointers in the win and finished with 24 points. Caden Brighthart also was in double figures with 12. Oak Ridge also played Sevier County at Sevier County back on November 28th and had to hold off the Bears to win. Final score of that one was 67-62. Lucas Hammonds led the Wildcats that night with 19 points, with Grayson Strader, Caden Brighthart, and Brennan Scott also scoring in double figures. Like the last game with the Bears, Oak Ridge trailed at the half only to rally to win. The Smoky Bears were undefeated at 4-0 at that time when Oak Ridge played them in November, and after the loss to Oak Ridge, Sevier County has gone 3-6. Following the Oak Ridge loss, they beat Central and Seymour. but have lost consecutive games to Gatlinburg, Pittman, Fulton, Carnes, Morristown East, and to the Wildcats. They ended the 5-game losing streak on Tuesday with their win over Fair.
Looks like it will be under the basket baseline inbound. Wildcats work back in. Caden Brightheart, as well as Brennan Scott, who gets the inbound for the Wildcats. Brennan goes up for a 2-point shot. No good. Going to be a long rebound, and he gets his own rebound eventually around near side court, near the Smoky Bears. Wildcats work it to Caden Brightheart. Back over to Grayson Strider. Under 20 seconds here. 15-11, the lead for the Wildcats. Brennan Scott has it tipped and taken away, but Brennan comes back up with it. 12 seconds left on the clock. Brennan drives in the lane, finger roll, no good. It's going to be rebounded by the Smoky Bears, who have 5 seconds left in the game. Wildcats need to get back. They do. Tipped away is the three-pointer by Raekwon Watson, who was guarding Huffaker there. And at the end of the first quarter, Wildcats lead 15-11 as we will take a 1-minute timeout. James Branson joined by Josh Frazier, Ethan Eubanks, and Malachi Bonner here as the Wildcats are set to start the second quarter against the Smoky Bears here from the Maryville Christmas Tournament, the Renaissance Bank Christmas Tournament. The Smoky Bears do have it first possession. They inbound it, and it is going to be Hedrick who gets the inbound there, and it's got it by Raekwon Watson. As they work it around to Huffaker. Huffaker tries to get it into the lane, and he does, but the handoff goes to Gibbons. Gibbons works it back out. That's going to be a three-point shot. No good. Touched not only the net. At the very bottom is going to be rebounded by Caden Brightheart. Caden has it for the Wildcats, though, and throws it away out of bounds. That was tipped by the Smoky Bears there, Josh, and they called it as the Smoky Bear ball as it went off. They said Brennan Scott.
Yeah, definitely was tipped by the Smoky Bears, but, you know, human error, I guess, right? So now the Smoky Bears have got it, and they're making their way with the ball around the top of the key here.
It's going to be 15-11, the lead for the Wildcats with 7:20 left in the second quarter here. Smoky Bears, as Josh said, working it around. They have it to Hedrick. Hedrick tries to pass it, but it's going to be tipped away by Bryson Comer as they recover it in the back court. Smoky Bears trying to work it inside. They do eventually get it to Tarwater. Tarwater back over to Gibbons. Gibbons works it around, tries to get – their man gets it up for a 2-point shot. He was on the line there, so that cuts the Oak Ridge lead to 2. 15-3 is the lead for the Wildcats with 6:49 left in the second quarter. Grayson Strider has it to Raekwon Watson for 3. His shot no good, rebounded, tipped away, and taken away by the Smoky Bears. They have it with Tarwater. Tarwater works it to Hedrick. Hedrick guarded by Brennan Scott around the three-point line. Back over to Tarwater. Tarwater tries to work it inside. They do. They get a shot there guarded by Raekwon Watson, but Raekwon, they say, commits a foul. He was really close to – I thought that was pretty good defense there. I don't know if that was a foul, but they called a foul there on Raekwon.
Yeah, I think it was just enough that the ref had to call it. Just enough to justify it for him to call that foul right there. And number 24 shoots the first free throw, makes it, and Oak Ridge has some substitutions here. Number 24 for Sevier County will shoot the second shot here in just a second.
15-14 now the lead for the Wildcats. Second free throw by the mystery man for Sevier County is good. 15-15 Tie ball game here from Maryville with 6:20 left in the second quarter. Three-pointer by Grayson Strider. He responds with a three of his own. 18-15 the lead. Wildcats got to get back quickly on defense as a long pass goes, but it's going to be a turnover because he walked right along side court here near us. So it will be Oak Ridge to inbound it with Grayson Strider up 18-15. Inbound goes to Jaquez Thomas with 6:08 left in the second quarter. Jaquez trying to work it over to Caden Brighthart. He does. Works off a screen from Bryson, but gets it back to Jaquez. Jaquez in the corner for Grayson Strider. Three-pointer, no good. Rebounded by Huffaker from Sevier County. He works it to Ward. Ward looks to hand it off, and he does, but he gets it right back, guarded by Jaquez Thomas. 5:40 left in the second quarter here, with the Smoky Bears having the offensive possession. Gibbons has it, off to Ward, guarded by Caden Brighthart. Great defense here so far tonight by the Wildcats, very active on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a close game. Nobody's really run away with this. But I will say Oak Ridge has got to get some shots to start going down so they can extend this lead and not give these Smoky Bears some hope.
Ward has it as they are being very patient, the Smoky Bears are, with their offense, looking for the openings, but the Wildcats doing a great job of switching their main defense. Backdoor cut goes to Huffaker, who gets 2 points off the glass. They close the lead 18-17. Now the Wildcats lead with 1:55 left in the second quarter. Jaquez has it there, works it around the three-point line to Grayson, to Brennan, back to Jaquez. Looks at a skip pass to Caden Brighthart, gets it inside to Grayson Strider. He drives baseline. It's going to be tipped out of bounds, though, by the Smoky Bears, and it will remain Oak Ridge possession as Marcus Peters subs in for Bryson Comer. Wildcats really need to come up with some points here on this possession.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got to extend this lead. They got to get something to fall. Smoky Bears are coming right back into this game.
Grayson Strider has it, as well as Jaquez Thomas. They're working around the three-point line, looking to drive baseline to Caden. He kicks it out to Brennan Scott for three, and it rattles off the rim. No good, but it's going to be tipped out of bounds. Who was it off? They claim, Ethan Eubanks, that it is off the Smoky Bears, so it'll be Oak Ridge inbounding it with 4:21 left in the second quarter. Marcus Peters, long pass to Jaquez Thomas, over to Brennan Scott, back to Jaquez, back to Caden Brighthart, working it around the three-point line. Somebody needs to drive into the lane. Caden does. He kicks it back out to Jaquez, to Marcus Peters. He's going to shoot a three. No good, off the rim, rebounded by Smoky Bears. 18-17 the lead for the Wildcats, just under 4 minutes left in this first half here. Ward has it for the Smoky Bears. It's going to be a three-point shot by the Smoky Bears, but is no good. Rebounded by Gibbons of Sevier County. They go up off the glass. Their shot's good, and it's 19-18. I believe that is the first lead for the Smoky Bears in this game.
You're right. It is the first lead, and it comes from the mystery man, number 24 on Sevier County. Whoever this kid is, he's killing it for the Smoky Bears tonight.
3:25 left in the first half here as the Wildcats have been working around the three-point line, looking for opportunities. Brennan Scott sees one here. Shot for three is no good. Rebounded, though, by Grayson Strider. Gets it off to Jaquez, who drives into the lane, and a foul is going to be called, I believe, on Tarwater for Sevier County, which will send Jaquez to the line. Wildcats trail 18-19 with 3:14 left in the first half.
Right, and hopefully these are two easy points that Thomas will make to take the lead back. He misses the first one.
Jaquez will try to tie this up with his second free throw here with 3:14 left in the first half. Shots up, no good, but rebounded by Grayson Strider, who does take the lead. Little tip in there for Grayson. That should be, I believe, his 5th point on the night.
That's correct. That's his 5th point on the night. And so far, I love the fact that Oak Ridge is scoring with multiple players. Sevier County shoots, and there's going to be a foul.
Foul, I believe, is going to be on Caden Brighthart, who was defending down low Tarwater. who will go to the line. Tarwater's throwing me off here a little bit with these highlighter shoes, as highlighter colored green and orange shoes. His first of his 2 free throws is good. That ties the ball game at 20 with 2:58 left in the first half here from Maryville High School, the Renaissance Bank Christmas Tournament in Maryville. His second shot is going to be good as well. So Sevier County retakes the lead, 21-20 here. Just under 3 minutes left to play in the first half. Wildcats have it as Raekwon Watson comes back in, gets it over to Marcus Peters, who drives in the lane, but a charge is going to be called on Marcus. So that is the 7th foul on the Wildcats, or they say it is Oak Ridge's 7th foul. But it will be an inbounds here for the Smoky Bears as they work it into Tarwater. Tarwater has it guarded by Caden Brighthart. 2:45 left in the first half here from Maryville High School. 21-20, Sevier County leads as they are working around the three-point line. They do to Hedrick. Hedrick over to Tarwater. Tarwater looks to drive the lane. He does, but it's going to be a turnover and Grayson Strider picks it up, drives into the lane, shot off the glass, good! And they will count the basket. So Grayson gets his 7th point on the night, will extend the Wildcat lead to 1, 22-21, and goes to the line for the extra point opportunity.
On the hustle plays and on defense, so not surprised he's doing well tonight.
23-21 the lead for the Wildcats now with 2:12 left in the first half. Raekwon Watson, great defense there, and he tied up Hedrick just in front of the Oak Ridge bench there. Possession arrow in favor of the Wildcats, so the Wildcats and Raekwon Watson, great defense there, will get another possession on offense. Raekwon getting directions from Coach Green as he tries to set up the offense. Caden Brighthart has it. Skip pass to Raekwon Watson. Inside to Bryson Comer. Bryson out to Grayson. Working it around the three-point line to the Wildcats. Caden Brighthart ends up with it. Skip pass to Raekwon Watson. A little bit of a zone here as Caden Brighthart. Another skip pass for 3. No good. Rebound goes to Oak Ridge as it's tipped out of bounds by the Smoky Bears. So it will remain Oak Ridge ball on the baseline there. This zone defense really giving the Wildcats a little bit of fits here.
Yeah, it's given them some trouble for sure, but it's nothing that Oak Ridge can't overcome. I've seen them overcome this before, so complete faith as they try to drive in.
Raekwon Watson tries to drive into the lane there as it is going to be tipped out of bounds by the Smoky Bears. Once again, remaining Oak Ridge possession. 1:35 left in the second quarter here as the inbound goes to Brennan Scott for 3. He nails it. It's going to be 26-21, the Oak Ridge lead with 1:25 left in the first half. Here, Sevier County works it quickly up court. They try to get it on a cut there, but it's going to be tipped out of bounds as Caden Brighthart was defending the lane there against Tarwater. So the Smoky Bears will inbound it underneath their own goal. 26-21, the lead for the Wildcats. 1:19 left in the first half. It will be Hedrick who lobs the inbounds. It's going to be tipped out by Grayson Strider. Raekwon Watson has it to Brennan Scott off the glass for 2 points. 28-21, the lead, as Sevier County has had enough of this little 8-point run, and they call a timeout. We'll take that with them and be back here in 30 seconds. James Branson as well as Josh Frazier, Ethan Eubanks back here at Maryville as the inbound by the Smoky Bears is going to be stolen away by Grayson Strider. Gets it to Brennan Scott. His shot no good and is rebounded by Hedrick of the Smoky Bears. They work it up the court quickly to Huffaker. Huffaker nearly sees a double team but works off of it. They give it over to number 24 for them. He works it back to Hedrick as they pass it back and forth here. Hedrick cuts into the lane, defended by Raekwon Watson, but kicked back out to Sinneth. Sinneth, his three-pointer, no good, rebounded by Raekwon Watson. Raekwon drives in the lane, tries to get it off to Bryson Comer, but it's tipped out of bounds, knocked out of bounds more like, by the Smoky Bears, and will remain Oak Ridge possession with 35 seconds left. 28-21 the lead for the Wildcats. We appreciate you joining us on FM 92.7, Oak Ridge Schools Channel 15. And prepradio.com, also on hopefully our YouTube Prep Radio channel as well. David Clary was up in Greenville. Hopefully he will get to join us here at some point, as Oak Ridge is playing for the last shot here in the last 20 seconds, really passing it around the three-point line as we are about to enter under 10 seconds. Brendan Scott has it over to Raekwon Watson. Raekwon has to drive into the lane. He does, kicks it out to Caden. Caden shot up, no good, gets his own rebound, off the glass, no good, and it's going to be the end of the half here as the Wildcats lead here at halftime, 28-21. Real quick, Josh, I know you haven't gotten to talk a whole lot here because of the action, but quick synopsis here is we'll have a 5-minute halftime of the first half.
Well, Oak Ridge started off strong. They got an early lead against Sevier County. And Sevier County, they went to that zone defense, and they got back into this game, keeping Oak Ridge on their toes. They got back, they took a lead, and then Oak Ridge seemed to keep playing their style of ball, which is unselfish play. You know, one player will have a good shot, but he'll give it up for someone else that has a better shot. And so far we've got 5 players that have scored tonight, whereas Sevier County has had technically 4. One of those players has gotten nothing but free throws, but 24.
Brian Bennett back at our station on 92.7 FM, and we'll be back here as the Wildcats lead 28-21. We'll be back in 3 minutes. James Branson back here with Josh Frazier, Ethan Eubanks, Malachi Bonner doing our camera work as well. David Clary hopefully will be joining us pretty soon as the Wildcats leave 28-21. Josh, if you would, go ahead and give us a...
I've got Marcus Peter with 2 points. Grayson Strader with 8 points. Bryson Comer has 2. Brennan Scott with 7. And Caden Brighthart with 9. For Sevier County, we've got Roman Gibbons with 2 points. Caleb Tarwater with 2 points. Braden Huffaker with 2 points. Bryce Seneth with 1 point. And number 24 with 14 points so far.
Seems like he's doing a lot of the heavy lifting for the Smoky Bears as the Wildcats will have it. Once it will be start on defense, I'm sorry. The Smoky Bears will have it to start the second half. Bryson Comer, as well as Jaquez Thomas, Brennan Scott, Grayson Strader, and Caden Brighthart are your starting lineups for the Wildcats. The Smoky Bears have it with Owen Brooks, Roman Gibbons as he drives into the lane for them. Bryson Hedrick, as the Smoky Bears number 24 goes in, his shot's no good. It's going to be a long rebound taken away eventually by Caden Brighthart. He works it up court quickly to Bryson Comer. Bryson into Grayson Strider, gets it back out to Caden. Around two, he gets it over to Grayson Strider in the corner for 3. His shot no good. Rebound by Bryce Comer. Bryce needs to go up with it. He does, but it's missed, and it's going to be taken down by the Smoky Bears. Smoky Bears have it to number 14, Owen Brooks. Also in is Caleb Tarwater, and number 24 for them is their starting 5 in the second half. Wildcats very active defensively, but they end up giving up a shot to Roman Gibbons. His shot's no good. Going to be a rebound taken by Jaquez Thomas. Jaquez to Brennan Scott for 3, and he's fouled. Count it! Count it! He nailed the three-pointer even though he was fouled, and he will go to the line for the old school 4-point play. I don't know if it's old school, but I'm going to call it old school.
Well, it's old school if you want it to be old school, James, but Brennan Scott looks like he's getting hot just right around the same time that he did in the last game. He shoots, he misses that free throw, but hopefully he can keep this hot streak going.
As we are just informed by one of our fans in the stands, Reed Owenby, who is number 24, so he will be in for the Smoky Bears, and we are corrected on his name, and he makes a basket right away. So that is a 31-23 lead for the Wildcats after that exchange back and forth. 6:30 left in the third quarter. Wildcats have it on offense with Caden Brighthart over to Jaquez Thomas. Drives in the lane, gives it off to Bryson Comer. Off the glass, good. As Bryson adds to his score, 33-23, the lead for the Wildcats. 6:10 left in the third quarter.
Right, that was a perfect example of that unselfish play that I was talking about. Driving in, passing the ball off for the better shot, and they end up scoring.
Roman Gibbons goes into the lane. His shot off the glass no good. Smoky Bears rebound and get a three-point opportunity over to Owen Brooks. Cuts the lead to 7. The Wildcats try to respond quickly with Caden Brighthart. His three-pointer is no good. 33-26 the lead for the Wildcats. 5:40 left in the third quarter. It will be Caleb Tarwater who has it, guarded by Bryson Comer. He gives over to Brooks. Brooks to Gibbons. Gibbons guarded by Strader over near his bench. He eventually gets it to Hedrick. Hedrick is guarded by Brennan Scott. The Wildcats doing a great job switching defensively as they do. Handoff goes to Brooks. Brooks tries to drive in the lane and walks. So it will be a turnover in the favor of the Wildcats with 5:19 left in the third quarter. Substitutions coming in. Huffaker comes in for the Smoky Bears. 33-26 the lead for the Wildcats.
Yeah, and they're driving up now, and let's hope that they can add to this lead, get some good shots off.
As it looked like the Caden Brighthart stepped out of bounds there on the baseline, and it will be a turnover in favor of the Smoky Bears. Smoky Bears do inbound it. Long pass goes to Hedrick. Hedrick trying to get it under control. He goes off the glass. Good. Wildcats got to get back on defense there as they kind of fell asleep a little bit as Hedrick was able to escape his defender. 33-28 the lead for the Wildcats. Caden Brightheart being hassled there. Eventually the Wildcats work it over to Jaquez Thomas. Oh, it's got three-pointer, 36-28, the lead for the Wildcats with 4:40 left in the third quarter. Brennan Scott, they're having a great game once again. Smoky Bears tried to do a long inbound to Hedrick once again, but he's not able to control it. Passes it over to Jaquez Thomas, works it quickly back up the court to Caden Brightheart. His three-pointer off the rim, no good, going to be rebounded by the Smoky Bears. They come quickly back up the court. As they have it, goes inside. I believe that's Tarwater. His shot's no good. Foul is going to be called on Bryson Comer. 36-28 the lead for the Wildcats. 4:20 left in the third quarter here. Bryson's got to be a little bit smarter there down in the lane.
Yeah, definitely. You got to be smarter than that. Try to avoid the foul, but get the block. As number 10 for Sevier County shoots, he makes it, so that's 1 point for him.
However, you like the aggressiveness of Bryson as he wasn't willing to give up the shot easily. Second free throw up and good, 36-30, the lead for the Wildcats. They try to inbound it, and it is tipped out of bounds by the Smoky Bears near their bench, and so it will remain Oak Ridge possession. Oh, I'm sorry, it is tipped out of bounds by the Wildcats, so it will be Smoky Bear possession with 4. Comer. They lob it in. It's going to be intercepted by Brendan Scott. Brendan races up court, has Raekwon Watson. He can hand it off, but tries to go off the glass. No good, but was fouled in the process of shooting, so Brennan will go to the line here. Brennan, on the night, has about how many points there, Josh?
Right now he's got 13, and hopefully he can add 2 more points to that. And he adds at least 1 more right now.
Brings his total to 14, and the lead for the Wildcats to 7, 37-30, the lead. 4:14 left in the third quarter. Brennan misses the second free throw, and it's going to be rebounded by Tarwater of Sevier County. Tarwater brings it across the court as we move under 4 minutes here, hands it off to Senath. Senath hands it off to Owenby. Owenby trying to drive in. He eventually hands it off as the Smoky Bears working around. Shot there by Senath off the rim, no good. Going to be rebounded by Marcus Peters and up to Caden Brightheart. The Wildcats want to go quickly, and it's going to be a charge called on Caden, and I don't know about that call. That's not a great call there. It didn't look like his feet were set for the Smoky Bears, and Caden, that's what they called. They called a charge on Caden, but I don't think his feet were set.
Right, but I will say number 25 definitely sold it pretty well. So now they've got the ball back, and they're driving up the lane. They shoot. It's blocked.
Blocked by Grayson Strider with 3:43 left in the third quarter. 37-30 the lead for the Wildcats now, as it will, I believe a foul was called on the Wildcats, and it will be an inbound underneath the basket here for Hedrick of Sevier County. He's trying to work it in, nearly gets a 5 count, but does get it off to Huffaker. Huffaker trying to get it to somebody. It's going to be tipped out of bounds by Brennan Scott, though, on an errant pass, as they were trying to get it to Owenby on the baseline there. Will be Sevier County inbounding it once again with Hedrick. 3:36 left in the third quarter. Inbound does go in, guarded by Marcus Peters. That will be Fudger, who gets his first 2 points of the basket. And the Wildcats having a lot of trouble trying to get the ball up court, and a foul is going to be committed there by the Smoky Bears. I believe maybe Tarwater will be the call, as he fouled Raekwon Watson there with 3:27 left in the third quarter.
Right, it looks like the Smoky Bears aren't going to give up any easy shots to Oak Ridge, as they're trying to claw their way back into this game and cut down this lead down to less than 5 here.
Wildcats working in to Raekwon Watson, then to Caden Brightheart. His shot goes up and good. 39-32 the lead for the Wildcats with 3:09 left in the third quarter here. Smoky Bears have it and working it across midcourt stripe there with Hedrick, guarded by Raekwon Watson. He hands it off to Owenby. Owenby, Raekwon switches over to him over near the midcourt circle. it will be Huffaker, handed off there, guarded by Price Davis, who has just entered the game recently here, and is double teamed. Hedrick, Price comes away with it. Price trying to go off the glass. He does, good. Price gets his 2 points in the game, 41-32, as Sevier County calls the timeout with 2:37 left in the third quarter. We will take that timeout with them and be back here in 30 seconds. James Branson here at Maryville High School, joined by Josh Frazier, Ethan Eubanks, and Malachi Bonner doing our camera work tonight. David Clary, who was in Greenville, is now on his way. Josh, a little bit of, the first half was really back and forth. A little bit of a slower pace here in this third quarter, as you were saying.
Right. There's definitely been a lot more defense in this third quarter so far. Neither team is going to get or give any easy shots to the opposing team. So right now we're only up to 41-32 game, and every shot is going to be almost a dogfight to get.
Sevier County trying to inbound it, trying to do their long inbound. It's no good. Nearly has a 5 count, but they do work it into Hedrick with 2:35 left in the third quarter. Hedrick brings it across midcourt stripe. He gets it over to Tarwater. Tarwater back to Hedrick in the corner. Thought about a 3, but gives it back to Tarwater in the lane. He goes off the glass. Good. 2 points for the Smoky Bears, and Tarwater there, as a foul is going to be committed by Tarwater on the inbound, as Raekwon Watson was forced out of bounds, pushed out of bounds even. And it will remain Oak Ridge possession, 41-34, now the lead for the Wildcats. Caden Brighthart to inbound it. He does inbound it tries to inbound it, but a foul is going to be called on Raekwon Watson as he pushed off, is what the referee said. So it will be Sevier County's inbound now, 41-34, as we said. The lead for the Wildcats, 2:18 left in the third quarter. It will be Tarwater to inbound. He does to Hedrick. Tarwater gets it right back, tries to drive in the lane. It's going to be fouled, and I do think that was a foul right there, as one of the Wildcat defenders kind of hacked him incidentally in the face as he was driving into the lane.
Definitely a good call. I could see his head kind of whip back a little bit when he got hit, and now he's at the free throw line. Takes his first shot up off the rim, no good.
Huffaker will have his second free throw, trying to cut the Wildcat lead to 6 here, as his second free throw is up and good. 41-35 the lead for the Wildcats, 2:13 left in the third quarter. The Wildcats work it quickly up to Bryson Comer. He goes off the glass, no good, but the rebound eventually is going to be worked to Bryce Davis. His shot up, no good, going to be rebounded by Sevier County. Sevier County comes down with it. Tarwater gives it over to Hedrick. Hedrick to Owenby. He drives into the lane, spins, shot no good. Rebounded by Bryson Comer, and back to the hectic pace we go. Caden Brighthart kicks it out to Brennan Scott. Thought about a 3, eventually drives into the lane, goes off the glass, no good, and a blocking foul is going to be called on Tarwater as Brennan tried to go up for the layup. So Brennan earns a trip to the free throw line to add to his 14-point total so far. 41-35 the lead for the Wildcats.
Right, and I do want to say it looks like number 10 for Sevier County is on the other side of the court. He's just taken a beating in the last few plays, it seems like. One to the face, and then right there where he hit the court, Brennan Scott takes the first of 2 free throws, makes it. We've got some substitutions, and he'll be taking his second shot here in just a second.
Grayson Strader comes into the game for the Wildcats as Brennan makes his second free throw. 43-35 the lead for the Wildcats now. 1:43 left in the third quarter. Gibbons comes in for Tarwater for Sevier County, who left, and Owenby now has it for Sevier County. He gives it over to Roman Gibbons. Gibbons gets it back to Owenby, and Owenby is fouled there, I believe, by Price Davis over near the baseline, and that will be an inbound near the basket. That is Oak Ridge's. They have a tally of 5 team fouls, as Sevier County inbounds it with Hedrick to Owenby out around the three-point line. Owenby trying to drive in the lane, blocked by Raekwon Watson. Raekwon races quickly up, gets into the lane, hands it off to Grayson Strider. He goes off the glass for 2 points. Grayson Strider, Raekwon Watson, great combination to get those 2 points. 45-35, the lead now for the Wildcats. 1:10 left in the third quarter. Sevier County works it back quickly up court. They get it to Owenby down on the low block. Owenby tries to spin, shot no good. It's going to be another shot by Fudger, up, no good. Price Davis comes down with the rebound, gets it up to Raekwon Watson quickly in the front court. Raekwon steps around, off the glass, his shot's good. 35-47. Wildcats lead by 12. 45 seconds left in the third quarter. Raekwon Watson putting all kinds of pressure on Hedrick as he brings it up court. Commits another turnover as Price Davis has it. He gets it to Caden Brightheart. Caden drives off the glass. Shot no good. Rebounded by Grayson. His shot didn't even get off as he was fouled there. And the Wildcats have put so much pressure on Sevier County here late in the third quarter that they've created a little, I believe, 5-point run here in the last 30 seconds.
Right, looks like their defense just stepped up a notch, and they've got a few turnovers, and they've been able to take advantage of those turnovers. And now we've got Grayson Strader takes his first of 2 free throws and makes it. And we've got high fives all around before Grayson Strader takes his second shot.
48-35, now the lead for the Wildcats. 32 seconds left in the third quarter. Subs coming in for Sevier County. Ward comes in as Grayson hits his second free throw. 49-35, now the lead for the Wildcats. Raekwon now guards Ward, who came in off the bench, and they have yet to work it across the midcourt stripe. They eventually do. Raekwon and Price Davis come to trap in the corner, and it's going to be a turnover for the Wildcats with 20 seconds left. Ward just not able to get away from the pressure of the Wildcats.
Right, that defense of the Wildcats right now is just red hot. They aren't letting Sevier County get back into this game or get any points at all if they can to finish off this third quarter.
Oak Ridge trying to hold for the last shot, just under 5 seconds here. Raekwon drives in the lane, kicks it out to Price Davis for 3, and it's no good. Rebounded by Caden Brightheart, tried to save it to Grayson Strader, but the buzzer had sounded. 49-35, the lead for the Wildcats here, headed to the fourth quarter, as we will take a 1-minute timeout. James Branson, as well as Josh Frazier, Ethan Eubanks, Malachi Bonner here from Maryville High School. Wildcats leading 49-35 as they have the possession to start the fourth quarter here in this ballgame with Sevier County. They do commit a turnover, and Sevier County has it with Huffaker going quickly up court. They get it to Ward. Ward works it around to Akers. Akers back over to Huffaker eventually for 3, and he hits that three-pointer. 49-38, cuts the lead to 11 for the Wildcats. We appreciate you tuning in to us here on FM 92.7, Oak Ridge Schools Channel 15, prepradio.com, and our YouTube Prep Radio channel. as we appreciate Brian Bennett, obviously, back at the station for helping us out. Oak Ridge makes a few substitutions here and bring in Cooper Williams on the offensive side there as they get it on the baseline to Grayson Strader. Strader over to Brennan Scott. Brennan to Caden Brighthart. Back to Brennan Scott for three. His shot's no good, but going to be rebounded by Caden. Caden has it and tries to call a timeout, and Coach Green does get the timeout there to start this fourth quarter, 49-38 the lead, as we are joined by David Clary, who, David, you look a little worn out there. Any particular reason for that?
Well, I tell you, I was making good time. I was in Knoxville before your game started. I was listening to Josh do the pregame show, and then there was a wreck on Alcoa Highway, and I've just been sitting in traffic listening to you guys. But it kind of made my day, so go right ahead. I'm out of breath.
7 minutes and 5 seconds left here in this game. Third time that the Wildcats have matched up with the Smoky Bears. Third time this season, third time in a month almost, as the Wildcats have won the previous two matchups, 49-38. The lead now for the Wildcats as they have it. Oak Ridge gets it into Jaquez Thomas, hands it off to Brennan Scott. Back over to Caden Brighthart, back to Jaquez Thomas. Back to Caden as they work it around the three-point line. Inside to Cooper Williams. Cooper walks with it, though, as I think he was tied up a little bit, but walks with it is what they called, and it will be the Smoky Bears ball with 6:50 left in this game. 49-38 the lead for the Wildcats as they do eventually work it in. Huffaker ends up with it. He is guarded around the three-point line there by Grayson Strader. They get a new man in the game in Matu, and he gets it back over to Huffaker, who hits a three-pointer and cuts the lead 49-41. The Wildcats have an 8-point lead with 6:25 left in the fourth quarter. That is two straight three-pointers there by Huffaker to cut this lead a little bit closer.
Right, and that's what Sevier County needed. They needed somebody to step up because it looks like Owenby, number 24, previously known as the mystery man, has been pretty quiet in this second half. So
Wildcats have been working around the three-point line. They do to Jaquez Thomas, gets it over to Caden Brighthart, skip pass to Jaquez. Over to Brendan Scott, his three-pointer, no good, going to be a long rebound. Grayson tipped it away, and it just happened to land in Huffaker's hands. He gets it over to Ward. Ward over to Matu, and gets it back to Huffaker. Huffaker guarded by Caden Brighthart with 5:40 left in the game. Near walk there by Ward. Some of the Oak Ridge fans were not exactly excited about that. And it's going to be Huffaker that they lose once again with a three-point shot. No good. Rebound there by a tall Cooper Williams, and gets it over to Caden Brighthart. Brighthart to Grayson Strader. Over to Jaquez. Eventually they work it in the corner to Brendan Scott. Trying to ward Cooper Williams for his rebound, and he nails his layup there. 51-41. 10-point lead for the Wildcats. We don't get back on defense, and it's going to be Sevier County who scores quickly. Number 3 for them cuts the lead immediately back to 8 points. 5 minutes left in the game here. 51-43. The lead for the Wildcats, as we will have substitutions coming in. Jaquez Thomas and Cooper Williams go out. Bryson Comer and Raekwon Watson come in. Wildcats have it inbound. They do to Raekwon Watson in the backcourt. Raekwon trying to work over the time stripe, guarded by Ward. Just under 5 minutes left in the game. Grayson has it, gives it over to Caden Brighthart. Caden works it back out near midcourt to Raekwon. They toss it back and forth as the Wildcats are trying to get into the lane. They do with Grayson Strader, who goes off the glass. Good. His 2 points extend the lead to 10, 53-43 over Sevier County with 4:30 left in the fourth quarter. Sevier County has it, top of the key. They work it over to Hoffman. Hoffman guarded by Bryson as he extends out. Sevier County content to try to, I believe, get Huffaker open probably for another three-pointer, as he is been the hot man with the hot hand here late in the fourth quarter. Sevier County goes up for another three-pointer by Hoffman, and that's good. The Wildcat lead is cut 53-46. 3:55 left in the fourth quarter. The Wildcats quickly work it back up court. Caden Brighthart has it. Over to Raekwon Watson. Caden looking to get it into Grayson. Grayson has it. takes a little 10-foot jumper, and it's good. Grayson, 2 back-to-back makes the lead 55-46 with 3:40 left here in the fourth quarter. Timeout is going to be taken. Josh, real quick game back here, back and forth, and three-pointers really cutting the lead here.
Absolutely, but I think ultimately Sevier County's issue of just having one man being hot at any given point in time is going to be the end of their game against Oak Ridge, because Oak Ridge can score. Any player can score on this team, as they've done so well tonight, and the passing game by Oak Ridge here in the fourth quarter has been amazing. Again, the unselfish ball play from every player on Oak Ridge, giving up a good shot for a better shot, has helped them be able to manage this comeback from Sevier County. So
Sevier County has it on the inbounds with 3:37 left in the game here, as the Wildcats lead by 9, and Sevier County nearly tips it away by Ward, and eventually a timeout is going to be called by Sevier County once again, as they were not settled in their offense. So we will take a quick 30-second timeout. Wildcats lead 55-46. James Branson, as well as Josh Frazier. David Clary, as you heard, has made it from Greenville. We'll get a scoring update, or a scoring summary, basically, and a rundown of how the girls defeated Mercer County earlier today in their Greenville Andrew Johnson Ladies Classic up there. Ethan Eubanks and Malachi Bonner have been helping us out. We appreciate you tuning us in on FM 92.7 or Oak Ridge Schools Channel 15, prepradio.com, as well as our Prep Radio YouTube channel. Wildcats lead 55-46 with 3:30 left on the clock, and Sevier County tries to inbound it, and it's going to be tipped away by the Wildcats on the inbound. So Sevier County, the inbound moves from the side court under the baseline, a little bit harder. Wildcats really have to defend on that run-out pass, which they attempt to do, but they settle for the inbound to Huffaker. Huffaker eventually gets it to Ward. He now crosses midcourt stripe, guarded by Raekwon Watson. It's going to be Hoffman that has the ball, and he gives it up. And it's going to be guarded by Brennan Scott. Hoffman goes back into the corner. He gets it, and he's looking to pass it. Nearly gets a 5 count on him, but Mouton drives into the lane, off to Huffman, gets a three-point shot over to Ward. His three-pointer is good. 55-49. The Wildcats giving up 4 three-pointers here, back to back to back, with just under 3 minutes left, is a little bit concerning here, as the Wildcats have it with Brennan Scott. Brennan gets it to Grayson Strider. He goes in the lane, good. His layup, 57-49. 8-point lead for the Wildcats with 2:35 left in the fourth quarter. Wildcats really need to close out on these three-point shots, because you know that's how the Sevier County Smoky Bears are going to try to come back into this game.
Right, and they're doing a good job of hitting those three-pointers, but as long as Oak Ridge can keep playing their game and keep scoring and matching, they should be just fine.
Huffaker for his 3. He finally misses, and a long rebound eventually is going to be controlled by Bryson Comer, but goes right off his leg, right near the Sevier County bench right there. So it will remain Sevier County ball, 57-49. Wildcats lead with 2:09 left in the game here. Tough inbound point as you're in the corner of the court there, and a very tall Bryson Comer guarding the inbound, but Sevier County eventually does get it in. They work it over, and it's going to be a pushing foul on a screen. The foul will be on the Wildcats. It was Ward that was fouled, and I believe the call was on Brennan Scott there. Once again, the inbound for Sevier County will be on the side court, away from their bench. They work it in to Hoffman. Hoffman tries to hand it off, and he does. Wildcat defense is guarding him really well. Just under 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. 57-49 the lead. Sevier County, nice little backdoor cut. They go off the glass. Great defense by Grayson Strider. He blocks it. Wildcats come back up court quickly with Brennan Scott. His free throw jumper, no good. Rebound goes eventually to Sevier County. They race back up the court. They're trying to get points quickly as Ward has it in the corner. Skip pass over to Huffaker. Huffaker guarded by Bryson Comer and throws the ball out of bounds. Little bit of nerves there by Huffaker as he's not able to settle them, and the Wildcats will have it inbound. Grayson has it, gets it inbound to Raekwon Watson. Flips it up court to Caden Brightheart. Gets over to Brennan Scott. He fakes a three, then takes his three. Shot no good. Long rebound eventually goes to Sevier County, and a foul, I believe, is going to be called on Grayson Strader after that with 1:20 left in the game.
Right, and I don't know what happened earlier, but Coach Green is hot over there. So hopefully Oak Ridge can get back on their game, play smart, and extend this lead a little bit to finish out this last minute 20 of the game.
57-49, the Wildcats lead by 8. Ward at the free throw line for his 1-and-1. First shot was good. 7-point lead now for the Wildcats. 57-50, 120, as Josh said. Left in the game. Ward's second free throw, also good. 6-point lead for the Wildcats, 57-51. They inbound it to Raekwon, gets it right back to Grayson. Grayson works it across half court, looks to give it up to Raekwon. He does. Raekwon might be double teamed. He splits the double team, gets in the lane, gives it off to Caden Brightheart, over to Grayson. Wildcats might be content to pass it around the three-point line here and not allow the Smoky Bears to touch it, as that is the case as they continually pass it. Nearly a foul should have been called on Grayson Strader, but no foul was called, and Huffaker comes away with it. He gets his shot back for three, no good. Wildcats trying to come down with the long rebound. They do with Bryson Comer. Bryson off to Brendan Scott, goes up for a shot, and it's going to be blocked out of bounds, but Brendan earns a trip to the free throw line with 42 seconds left in the game, 57-51.
Well, that's what happens when you're relying on 3 points to get you back into the game. To win it at the end of the fourth quarter, it's some high hopes, and it's not panning out very well so far. Brennan Scott shoots and misses.
Rebounds taken by Sevier County. They, again, quickly work it up with 37 seconds left. And you know they're going to be trying to get three-point shots. Brennan Scott guarding very quickly there. Grayson Strader is trying to guard as they eventually work it over to Ward. Ward drives into the lane. He tosses away, and a foul on Grayson is going to be called. I guess Ward was going up. Either way, it's going to be 1-and-1. The foul was on Grayson. It is the 18th foul for the Wildcats, 57-51 the lead with 21 seconds left in the game. Ward, who made his first two free throws earlier, misses this free throw, but I believe he was fouled in the act of shooting, so he will earn another free throw attempt. 6-point lead for the Wildcats. Ward's second free throw, also no good. Rebounded by Bryson Comer. The Wildcats need to settle down and be able to pass it around here, as that is the goal. Raekwon Watson ends up with it, and Ward fouls him. That is the only option for the Smoky Bears to stop the clock here, as they do with 14 seconds left. Raekwon at the line for the first end of a 1-and-1. And the Wildcats back everybody else off just in case. Raekwon misses the first free throw. 13 seconds left. Sevier County has it. They get it to Ward. Ward tosses up a three-pointer. No good. Rebound goes to Sevier County. Grayson tries to deflect the pass. No good was the shot. And they called a foul on, I believe, Grayson Strader with 3 seconds left. But the Wildcats still lead by 6, 57-51. And it will be for them Mouton that ends up at the line. His first free throw is good, cuts the lead to 5. 3 seconds left. The game is probably all but over at this point if the Wildcats can inbound and run away with it. Second free throw is good, 57-53. Wildcats inbound it quickly to Raekwon Watson. He works it across half court, and the Smoky Bears are content to let the clock run out as that will bring a close here to our game. Wildcats do win 57-53, but the Smoky Bears made it close with all those three-pointers late in the game. We will take a quick 2-minute timeout and allow Josh to finish up his tallies there, and we'll be back to Maryville High School in 2 minutes. Are they one of the better teams in their region? James Branson, as well as Josh Frazier, Ethan Eubanks, and Malachi Bonner here from Maryville High School. We appreciate you listening to us on 92.7 FM, Oak Ridge Schools Channel 15, prepradio.com, and our YouTube Prep Radio channel. Josh, you want to run down a quick scoring summary as we finish up the game here from Maryville High School between Oak Ridge and Sevier County?
Absolutely. We've got, for Oak Ridge, Marcus Peters finished with 2 points. Grayson Strader finished with 18. Bryson Comer finished with 4 points. Brennan Scott finished with 16. Raekwon Watson finished with 2 points. Caden Brighthart finished with 11 points. Price Davis finished with 2. And Cooper Williams also finished with 2 points. On Sevier County side, Bryson Hedrick finished with 2 points. Mason Ward finished with 5. Roman Gibbons finished with 2 points. Edwin Matute finished with 4. Caleb Tarwater with 7. Owen Brooks with 3 points. Braden Huffaker with 7. Salvatore Fudger with 2. Bryce Seneth with 1 point. Christian Hoffman with 3 points. And Reed Owenby with 16.
Thank you, Josh. We appreciate you and all your help that you give us throughout the basketball season and football season. The girls, Lady Wildcats, played up in the Andrew Johnson Bank Ladies Classic in Greenville, Tennessee. They defeated Mercer County of Kentucky earlier today and earned another game tomorrow with Providence Day out of Charlotte, North Carolina at 4:30 tomorrow. We will try to have that broadcast as the scoring summary for the Lady Wildcats in that game. Seemed like a really good game, especially for 2 players for the Wildcats, as the leading scorer in the game for the Wildcats was Ayana Porter. Ayana had 22 points, but followed very closely by Zayana Stewart. Also scoring in the game for the Lady Wildcats was Demetria Strickland, who had a great game yesterday really fueled the Wildcat offense as they nearly took down the number 1 team in Thomas Dale High School out of Virginia yesterday. But Dimitri had 5 points in the game, and Cannon Green had 4 points, and Jenna Johnson, who didn't have a great game yesterday, had a pretty good game today with 15 points. David Clary here with us. David, obviously you saw the game, called the game. Tell us a little bit about that.
The game started really slow for the Lady Wildcats. In fact, Coach Taylor was not happy at all with their effort, didn't like their energy. We fell behind right out of the chute, and actually Ayanna Porter was the only player out there making shots. She scored our first 7 points, but we trailed by 8 at halftime and really were flat. I mean, dead flat. And I had said all during the broadcast that I thought this team was much bigger, and no big surprise there, James. Everybody's bigger than us, but they were much bigger than us, but we were so much quicker. And I kept saying over and over and over, we got to get these girls running. We got to get these girls running. That's exactly what they did in the second half. And they, like I said, they were down 8 at halftime, and then they were able to just use their defense, get some transition buckets. They started getting offensive rebounds. They hit their free throws down the stretch, and they honestly wore out the Lady Titans from Mercer County. And it was a good win for the Lady Wildcats. Coach Taylor was very excited. You know, she's been saying for the last 2 or 3 weeks, they need to turn the corner. They need to turn the corner and quit not just playing well, play well and win. And that's what they did today. It was not a great first half by any stretch of the imagination. It's a good team they beat today, and they're going to play tomorrow at 4:30. I jokingly said to her that the incentive she should have used to them is if you win, you play at 4:30. If you lose, you were going to play at 10:30 in the morning. So luckily, Mercer County is going to be playing at 10:30 against South Green, an old nemesis of us up at that tournament, and Oak Ridge will be playing Providence Day, as you said.
David, you said South Green, a potential opponent there. Lady Wildcats have won how many of the Ladies Classics?
6 championships. They've been runner-up 5 times. No other team in the 30-plus years of that tournament has won more than Oak Ridge. Bradley's right behind them with 5. Jefferson County's got 3 or 4. Upperman's got a few, but nobody has more than Oak Ridge. They have 6.
David, the boys are going to finish off here in 3rd place. The championship game will be later tonight between Maryville and I can't remember the other team off my head.
Stone Memorial.
Stone Memorial, who usually has a pretty good basketball team as well. So Wildcats do finish in 3rd place. When is their next action after the break?
Tuesday, January the 3rd at the Wildcat Arena against Chris Lockard's Clinton Dragons. Non-district ball game. Lady Dragons have lost 72 straight ball games to Oak Ridge. The Dragons ended a 27-game winning streak by the Wildcats in the first game last year. Oak Ridge was able to avenge that game at the Wildcat Arena. It doesn't matter anymore in terms of district standings, but it still matters for pride between the two communities.
You know, it's a game, too, that, like you said, it's a matter of pride for both communities, and I'm glad that Oak Ridge wants to keep the series going, even though it's not a non-district game.
Yeah, most definitely. I know it's a big gate for one thing, and it's just pride because these players, you know, they play each other sometimes in AAU. They're on the same teams. They play at the Civic Centers. They know each other, and that's it's a great rivalry, and I hope it continues. I'm going to bring Josh back in here because I only got to see the last 4 minutes of this ball game. I listened to you guys. You all sounded great as I was driving Alcoa Highway, sitting in traffic, dead stopped at a wreck. I thought about going all the way down the interstate, getting off the parkway. I said, no, Alcoa Highway would be quicker. I was wrong. Anyway, a good win for the Lady Wildcats, a good win for the guys here tonight. And, Josh, I'm going to give it back to you.
We'll bring Josh back in here as the next game is about to start. Great win for the Wildcats as they get their 12th win on the season here. I believe Coach Green is headed up here as his Wildcats did win 57-52, I believe was the final total there. Frantic comeback, Josh, by Sevier County to try to cut the lead.
Right, very frantic comeback for Sevier County, but, you know, ultimately it turned out to be too little too late, and they were trying to hit all kinds of three-pointers just to get back to tie the game. and Oak Ridge was able to play well throughout the entire game. They got everyone involved, everyone scored, and it made it easy for Oak Ridge to just manage the last part of that game and hold on to the win.
We are now joined by head coach of the Oak Ridge Wildcats, Coach Aaron Green. Coach, a little bit of a frantic finish there for your team as I heard you screaming a couple of times there at the end, shooter, shooter, because I believe at one point they made 4 threes to cut the lead really close.
Yeah, we didn't. I thought, we played well there. Got a 14-point lead. And I actually, in the third quarter, I think we were up 14. And the last thing I said at the timeout, let's win the quarter. Forget 0-0, try to win the quarter first 4 minutes, and obviously that didn't happen. I don't know if you noticed, they played some guys the fourth quarter. They didn't play much, and they played neither 4 games. I don't know if he got mad at a couple of his guys or what, but he played his younger guys, and they beat us by 10 in the fourth quarter. So, as a coach, it's I don't know, it's frustrating when you win a game, and as a coach, you're mad. I'm just shooting you straight, but there's it's kind of hard to explain, but there's a standard you play to. There's it's not just about that, win. You obviously want to win every game you play, but you've got to execute. I mean, we're up, we're up 8 with 1:40, and we're shooting the ball, like we're down 10. No reason to shoot it. I got, leaving guys wide open down here. They're out hustling us the balls. So that type of stuff will get you beat. Now, but the question is, I don't mean to be negative on a win, but really is, if you want to have a chance to go to a state tournament, really, really good teams don't allow that stuff to happen. And we are a good team, and we've got to get some of that, that I'm a little bit frustrated with how we finished. But that's a good team we beat, on the positive side. It's a really good team we beat. I thought we played well in spurts. Just, as a coach, just disappointed we didn't finish the way we need to finish.
Coach, I think part of your frustration may be also around the fact that that's the third time you've seen that team in less than a month.
Yeah.
Obviously said it's a great team and it's another win. You've been able to sweep them so far, and you might see them again in a sectional type of game, but that having seen them so much so far so early in the season's not something you usually see.
Yeah, I told Coach Wright, I was like, hey, we'll be at your place next Monday for a scrimmage. Just joking around. I feel like we're in a 7-game series in the World Championship, the Lakers and the Celtics 7-game series. But yeah, I can't remember if I've ever played a team 3 times before New Year's. Obviously, I've played teams 4 and 5 times during the year. You can play them twice in the regular season, district tournament, region tournament for 4. But yeah, kind of odd that it worked out that way. I know neither one of us, Coach Wright or myself, is looking forward to playing each other again. But with that said, they're a tough team to play against because they play so hard. They got 2 really good players, and they got really good guys around those 2 players. They play a really unique zone. It's hard to go against, and we struggled a little bit early. Kind of got a little bit in a groove there as the game went on. But yeah, it's definitely hard playing. I don't know how those teams in the NBA play a 7-game series. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's really, really hard. It's it's interesting. But I'm proud of our guys. Again, we got to win. We got a lot of room to improve. And again, my standard is to play in state, get the state tournament, have a chance to win a state championship. I don't care, who we lost or how many we graduated. This team has a talent. I feel like we've got some pieces that we can, you can possibly make a run, but we got to clean up some stuff, offense and defense to be able to get to that level.
Coach, you mentioned a really good team. It's not always one guy. You had Caden one game that had a really good game. You had Brennan, who had, I believe, 18 or more previously and hit 8 hit 8 3-pointers. And tonight, Brennan kind of sparked you a little bit as well, hit 2 back-to-back 3-pointers, ended up with 16 points. Talk a little bit about almost your team unity, because it seems like it's a really unselfish game, which is really kind of nice to see. Yeah,
and we've got a very unselfish team, and most of our teams that we've had ever since I've been there have really been unselfish. It's kind of a standard we have, or really one of our core values is playing unselfishly. But it's one thing to talk about it; it's another thing to actually play that way. And we truly have guys that don't really care who gets the credit. And we got guys that can do different things. We got different pieces. We got guys that that can shoot it. We got guys that can drive it. We got some length this year that we didn't have last year. I thought Grayson tonight, had a good hit up with 18 and I don't know how many rebounds, but he got on the glass a little bit, finished around inside, which he didn't play his best last night against Maryville. Brennan had 16. You mentioned he made some big buckets there to stretch it out. I thought Ray, come in and did a good job. He had 1, 2, 3. Looks like he had 5. He had 6 assists in his minutes he had. And Caden ended up having 11.
And Raekwon was great on defense as well.
Yeah, he was, and I thought Ray, played one of his better games in the last couple of weeks for sure. Price Davis come in and had a big, had a couple plays there, made a couple plays, created a couple turnovers.
Had a little trap at
and made some plays when he come in, and he's been battling some injuries and stuff, so too he can do that. And Cooper, I thought Cooper, Big Coop, and with Shamar and them. With a team like that, it's hard to get because they play 5 guards and they all shooting and they got you spread out. So you're trying to look at matchups and stuff like that. But we got some depth and we always got to continue to get better. And I told them after the game, I was like, hey, how far do you want to go? How good do you want to be? I mean, if you really want to be really elite and have a chance to be special, we got to get better.
Coach, as you mentioned there, no rest for the weary as you have a big game coming up next week, non-region game now, but really or non-district game, but really a game that kind of revolves around our community and the fact that it's Clinton.
Yeah.
It's a game that you want to win. I know you've had a lot of success over Clinton, split the series last year, but a game that is really important to our community, and I believe both communities, and expect to see a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, it's interesting to mention Clinton. Hadn't really obviously watched them yet, obviously with 3 back-to-back games. But I texted Coach McMahon at LSU, former Oak Ridger, last night after his first SEC win. Just congratulate him. And you can tell a true Oak Ridger because he texted me back and said, thanks, something about the game. I had a comment about the game. And he said, go beat the Dragons. that was in his text, So he graduated, I think, in '95 he's the same age as me. And so that goes to your point of who we play next, obviously, when I didn't even bring it up. And he's either looked at the schedule and is like, hey, just beat the Dragons. But it's a big, I've only been 2 places as a high school coach. I've been to Cleveland High School and Oak Ridge, and when I was at Cleveland, Bradley Central was a big time rival, and obviously Clinton's a big time rival. I know both communities look forward to it, and it's fun games for both kids, teams, both teams to play. The kids enjoy it, they look forward to it, and that's what rivalries are for, And I think again, I can't comment much on them. I haven't really, I've just kept up with them here and there, but with them not being in our league as much, but obviously over the next few days we'll start preparing for them for sure, like we do every team. But it'll be like every Clinton Oak Ridge game. It'll be hard fought, and both teams will be ready to go, and should be fun.
Well, Coach, congratulations on finishing the tournament out with a win. We look forward to speaking with you on Tuesday.
Yeah, and congrats to the girls. Got a big win over a good team today. I don't know what time they play tomorrow.
4:30.
4:30 tomorrow. So a good win for them, and. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, let's pack it out. It's next Tuesday. Was it January 3rd? Is that right? And a Tuesday at home versus Clinton. So see everybody there.
Coach, we appreciate you.
Hey, thanks.
That's going to close us out here as we appreciate all the people that helped us tonight. We appreciate David Clary fighting the traffic back in from Alcoa Highway there. And we appreciate Josh Frazier for helping us out here. Ethan Eubanks and Malachi Bonner doing our camera work tonight. We appreciate you tuning in on FM 92.7, prepradio.com, Oak Ridge Schools Channel 15, our Oak Ridge Prep Radio channel on YouTube. And obviously we appreciate Brian Bennett back at the station. That's going to wrap it up for us here as the Wildcats win 57-52 and finish 3rd in the Renaissance Bank Classic. For all those people that I mentioned before, this is James Branson saying so long, everybody.